Hey y'all, it is Candy Mama here. Today a friend commented on a YouTube video back in 2019 when we were vlogging our thru hike on the Appalachian Trail. The particular video that he commented on was about the White Mountains and our last couple days there. And so I rewatched it, as I do, because I really missed the Appalachian Trail. Rewatched it, and at the end of that video, me and my husband Jonathan actually talk about our opinions on hiking on the Appalachian Trail through the White Mountains of New Hampshire. We talk about the AMC, or the Appalachian Mountain Club, that kind of has a domain over that area. We also talk about the huts and just generally hiking through the Whites. I thought it had a lot of good information about the AMC, the White Mountains. I haven't really been able to see any other videos kind of like this, so I thought it'd be helpful to y'all if I did post this video from our 2019 thru hike. There are a lot of hot takes about thru hiking the Appalachian Trail through the White Mountains, particularly about the AMC. We do go over that and our opinions on it. We talked with a caretaker of one of the tent sites, and we got a lot of information that I think is going to be helpful in clearing up a lot of misinformation out there. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Before we get into that video, I would like to ask y'all to please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications. It only takes a click on y'all's end to help and encourage creators like me. As always, thank you for your support. Alright, let's get to that video about the AMC, the White Mountains, through hiking through New Hampshire, and the huts. Let's do it.
So we are officially done with the Whites, and we just wanted to take a couple minutes to go over them, because there are just some things to know. If you're planning on through hiking, there are helpful things to know about hiking through the Whites. I didn't know anything about the White Mountain National Forest before coming on the trail, and I didn't really know anything about the Whites probably within a couple weeks before hiking them. The Whites are huge. They are the hardest, steepest climbs that you'll do on the entire trail. They're the biggest mountains. You break tree line multiple times, but they're also the most rewarding climbs I think we've had the entire time. Best views, my favorite part by far.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
I'd say most rewarding is a good way to describe them, because you are doing some pretty intense climbs. And so when you get to the top, it's really nice that you have an awesome view.
AMC, which is a conservancy organization for that section, and then the campsites, which are a little bit different in the Whites, and then there are huts, which we'll explain those. And then there's a little bit, it seems like there's a little bit of a rivalry between AT thru hikers and caretakers in that section. So we'll just go over that.
So we were able to talk to a caretaker of one of the campsites, Nick, at the Ethan Pond campsite. And so we just got to know him, and we got to know about the AMC, and we got to know about the whole program they have, instead of just reading Guthook's comments. And we want to make our own decision about what the AMC was. So the AMC, they're the Appalachian Mountain Club, and they're the oldest conservancy group, and they started in the 1860s. So their main purpose, what Ethan told us, was that, Nick at Ethan Pond Shelter, Shelter and Campsite, he told us that their main goal is to educate hikers, let it be day hikers, through hikers, section hikers, groups, anyone that comes to the Whites, educate them on conserving the land. He also does maintenance on the trails, and in the campsites, they also compost the privies and take care of the human waste in the privies too. So that's pretty cool. But their main goal, he told me their main goal is to educate people on how to conserve our land and how to take care of it well. So that was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah. Usually on the AT, you guys know this probably, but you walk up to a campsite, set up your tent, or go to the shelter, then you pack up and leave, and that's it. Like, you do whatever you need to. Things in the Whites are a little bit different. It's $10 to camp at a regular shelter campsite. If you are a thru hiker, the caretaker will come by and they'll like write you a pass. The first time you go to a campsite, it's $10. Every time after that, it'll be $5.
This is what the pass looks like for thru hikers.
Yep. And then they put your name and stuff on the back. So what this pass does, every campsite afterwards, you'll only have to pay $5. And then there are perks at the huts, but I'll explain that later when we get to the hut. So something else about the campsites, that hikers kind of think they cost money just so that the caretakers can make money. And that's actually not true.
According to Nick.
According to Nick, yeah. But, I mean, they're getting paid, which makes sense. It's their job.
Yeah.
But he told us there are over 20,000 hikers that come through those campsites every year. Thru hikers are not the majority anymore in the Whites. It's a lot of tourists, a lot of locals. It's a big attraction place. So
Yeah.
tons of people are coming through every year. 20,000 people. And so something that, the way that they explained it to him is, that's a lot of butts. And that's a lot of poop.
I think it's $13 per hiker it costs to maintain the privy.
That's what it costs the AMC.
Yeah, every time somebody uses the bathroom or uses a campsite, it costs $10 or $13. So they're not making a profit off of it because it's $10 for everyone who's to stay there. And thru hikers, it's less.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because the mulch that they buy to compost all the waste is just really expensive.
And it has to be flown in too by helicopter.
And they have thousands of pounds of it every season.
Yeah.
So that's what the cost is going to. Some other things to know about the campsite. 35,000 pounds of mulch and bark is flown in every year. So that's a ton.
So before I got to the Whites, and even before that, I started hearing things from solo hikers and people on gut hooks about the AMC, and people are just not happy with the AMC and how it costs so much money to stay there, and I understand. So there was a lot of problems with the caretakers at the campsites because they tell you where to pee, they tell you where to use number 2, they tell you where to tent, they tell you where to eat. There's sections
where to put your food.
There's stuff for everything, and there's a reason for that, just to conserve the land. So that's like the issue with the caretakers, and then on top of that, you're paying money for this, and so that just causes some bad blood right there.
Yeah. And so that's especially hard for hikers because we've been out here for 4 months, like doing our thing, and all of a sudden we're being told what to do, and so it makes sense, especially once you talk to them. It makes a lot of sense with how many people are going through that section. Yeah. But for people who don't really take the time to understand, it just kind of rubs them the wrong way.
And so the caretakers, the main thing is that they're trying to protect their lands and these forests, so our kids can see them and our grandkids can see them. That's what Nick told me. He really wants to conserve the land, and that's his main purpose. It's not to make a great experience for a thru hiker. It isn't to be a nice guy. It's to conserve the lands. And so when you have a thru hiker who just wants to do their own thing and a caretaker who has very strict rules, there is some butting heads. And I understand that, but take some time maybe to talk to a caretaker and understand where they're coming from. That's what we did, and it kind of helped.
Yeah, it helped. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's still like money, but you just gotta pay it.
Sure.
It's the only time. Just pay it.
And then finally, there are huts in the Whites. And
huts are awesome.
Huts are really cool, but they're crazy expensive, and you have to reserve a spot beforehand. So we never did that. It's like $135 a bunk. Yeah. So per person, and you're in a bunk.
Yeah. And so what the huts are, they are, a lot of them are run off of solar power. And they're essentially, the main purpose of the campsites is to conserve, but the main, the hut people, the people who run the huts, the crew, their main purpose is hospitality and showing the guests a good time. And it's like an actual building. They still have semi-primitive, they don't have flushing toilets, and there's bunks and like plastic mattresses, but it's awesome for a thru hiker.
Yeah, so with the passes that you saw, the orange passes, that will give us like 1 free baked good or 1 free bowl of soup at a hut. So we got to use that. And is there anything else? Oh, so for hikers, because of how expensive it is, a lot of hikers go ask for work for stay. So sometimes you might get that. It's really limited. So if you get there early, you need to get there no earlier than 4:30.
It's like 4:30
Yeah.
for some.
I think it's 4 o'clock. If you get there before 4 o'clock, they won't take you for work for stay. If you want to do work for stay, you have to get there after 4.
Because they'll just move you on to the next spot. They don't want people to go hut to hut.
Yeah, but it's also limited, so you kind of just have to time it right and get lucky. Yeah, so for thru hikers, the only hut that you'll really be able to stay at, like count on, is Lake of the Clouds hut, and the reason for that is they don't send hikers away because they're above tree line in a 12-mile like exposed section. So
Right
if they
before
send
Mount Washington.
Mount Washington, which is the highest point in the Whites. So if they send a hiker away, they have the potential of having to like go rescue them.
Yeah.
So they'll let hikers, they have a thing called the dungeon, which is exactly how it sounds. It's like a brick, concrete, metal,
It's terrible.
all of that. It's like a small 10 by 10 room with 3 bunks. So no one stayed there, but they also let hikers sleep on the floor in the dining room.
Yeah.
So that's what we all did. And
Yeah. And you can start putting your stuff down at like 9:30, I think it was, and then you have to be up before they get ready for
breakfast. Mm-hmm.
It's fun. If you ever get a chance to hike through the Whites, I recommend, if you're doing a thru hike, trying to get work for stay or staying at Lake of the Clouds. It is a fun ordeal and it's fun to watch. It's different from what we've experienced. So yeah, that's a little bit about hiking through the Whites.
Do we want to do a quick summary?
Oh yeah, sure.
Cool. So 1, best part of the AT, our opinion. 2, you gotta pay for campsites, but I think it's worth it because of how they take care of that section. They really do a good job at
They do a great
taking care of it. 3, the huts are really cool. They're expensive. You
Try to
could
do
work for stay. And is there a 4? Just treat the caretakers nicely.
Yeah, try to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a good sport and enjoy the Whites.
Yeah, enjoy the Whites. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Also, something I don't think we mentioned, you want to slow your pace down too, so you can see this amazing part of the trail.
Yeah.
So definitely slow down. We did like 11s and 13s,
10 to
and
15 probably.
15s. And, yeah. So enjoy it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's it.
Bye.
See ya.